The amount of wounded soldiers in Iraq and Afghanistan is just over 32,000. Our advances in healthcare technology and in combat life-saving doctrine are some of the variables responsible for saving the lives of thousands of soldiers. If they had received the same injuries in Vietnam or any war prior, those soldiers may not have survived.
What we're doing is we're reenacting some combat scenarios for our combat lifesaver course. Unfortunately, many of the injuries the soldiers sustained happen, and there isn't a 68 whiskey necessarily near them, but there's always a battle buddy. What we're trying to do is ensure that there's always a combat lifesaver relatively close to them as well.
The job requires a level head and steady hand under great amounts of stress. If you're having a problem the medic can't solve, there's an old saying in the military that medics are fond of. Take 2 Motrin and change your socks. It's the civilian equivalent of asking if someone has restarted their computer when they say it isn't working. A medic's typical day starts with him waking up and immediately having to check that rash on me that won't go away. It's really starting to bother me. I don't know if it's worth going to sick call for. The doctrine has changed over the years so that in addition to the medic, there is at least one combat lifesaver trained soldier in each squad who has gone through the basic life-saving courses.
There are no medics in this training. The medics run the training. This is all soft skill as far as communications. This is all for non-medical personnel. But they have to have combat lifesaver to come here. So they have to have that first step combat lifesaver training week-long.
Around 90% of combat deaths happen in the field before the casualty reaches a medical facility. Most of these deaths are not preventable, but some issues like bleeding from a gunshot wound to an extremity or airway problems can be treated with a high level of success. The quick treatment is often the difference between a soldier either being KIA or recovering. It is estimated that proper self-aid and buddy aid, as well as combat lifesaver skills, can reduce battlefield deaths by as much as 15%. Every soldier knows how to use a tourniquet now, which until recently was looked down upon as a mistake to use. Now medics routinely will apply a tourniquet right away to an extremity to stop the bleeding as a matter of standard operating procedure. Other strategies that have been put into place to ensure the safety of the medic first when treating a casualty under fire include the medic being instructed to return fire first to make sure that they are safe before attempting to carry a fallen soldier to safety or treating them. Following this theory of treatment ensures that one casualty doesn't turn into 2. The combat lifesavers helping medics and corpsmen in the field know how to treat for shock and penetrating chest wounds. When a bullet or shrapnel punctures a lung and creates a sucking chest wound, soldiers now know how to perform needle chest decompression.